cost of rail movements have taken off like a runaway train. In fact, over the last 10 years, rail rates have increased 3 times more than inflation and trucking. For companies looking to effectively control their rail expenses, the days of just asking railroads for better rates are over. Being proactive has become a requirement, and Rail Rate Checker Plus has made it easier than ever for shippers to obtain better rates. Rail Rate Checker Plus contains powerful data and reporting tools you can leverage to negotiate your whole rate structure at once. Within seconds of uploading all of your movements into the program, Rail Rate Checker Plus automatically calculates the railroad's cost for each movement, calculates the revenue to variable cost ratio or RVC for each movement and the average on each railroad, determines benchmark rates for each movement and how much your rates differ from the benchmark, and determines the annual spend and the annual railroad profit on each railroad. But this is just the start of how Rail Rate Checker Plus works to cut your rail expenses. Rail Rate Checker Plus automatically determines where you have the greatest difference between your rate and the average rate you compete against in your markets. With the click of a button, Rail Rate Checker Plus generates a picture of how your rates stack up to competitors and where you pay more than the rates you compete against in your markets. Railroads thrive on a lack of rate transparency. Rail Rate Checker Plus provides that transparency. Railroads with the biggest problems can represent your best opportunity for reducing rail expenses. Rail Rate Checker Plus identifies the railroads that have higher rate margins than other railroads on your competitive and captive traffic. With Rail Rate Checker Plus, you are in a much stronger position to show a railroad why its rates need to be reduced. By pinpointing rates with excessive margins, the focus of rail negotiations is now on reasonable rates and not rate increases. The key to reducing rates is effective strategic planning. Rail Rate Checker Plus guides your planning as it identifies your biggest cost reduction opportunities. By benchmarking all of your rates, Rail Rate Checker Plus gives you cost reduction goals to go after on each railroad. To support cost reduction goals, the program shows when the rates for your moves are much greater than your competitors. This allows you to address where you have a competitive disadvantage in strategic planning, so problems can be corrected in rail negotiations. Bottom line, Rail Rate Checker Plus allows shippers to save time, save money, and increase your company's market share. To stop continually paying rate increases, you need the power of Rail Rate Checker Plus. To learn more about how Rail Rate Checker Plus will help reduce your rail expenses, contact Escalation Consultants to set up a demonstration using your movements.